Evening all, welcome to Sports Unplugged. It's myself, Chris Brack, and my good mate Kev. How you doing, Kev?
Really good, mate. Really good.
Really good, really good. Quiet day today, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, not a lot.
My phone wasn't ringing off the hook at 7:30 this
No,
morning.
mine
Honest to
either.
God, it wasn't.
So no footy this weekend either.
No, boring.
Apart from the women's footy, which we'll talk about later. So should we talk about the Royal Rumble?
Yeah, why not?
That's Saturday. So guys, come on, Royal Rumble. Who do you think's gonna win? No big twists. Come on, what do we think? How long should
You're not going to get away with this for long.
How long before someone loses the shit in this chat and I start getting abuse letters. So right, couple of quick bits of housekeeping. Red Chili, I believe it's his birthday on Tuesday, so happy birthday. And the other thing, just before we get into, I think this is like last January, Liverpool decided, we'll just do all the business in 2 days. We've been linked with the striker from Atletico Madrid, who we were linked with before he went to Atletico Madrid.
Yeah, we were.
The bit that's unclear was that before or after Diaz? So,
we don't know, but I watched him play the other night for Brazil, and he plays that false nine role for Brazil, and he looked all right. I watched him a bit. Matias Cunha is his name, and I watched him a fair bit as well for Atletico. He hasn't really worked out at Atletico the way they wanted him to, but I'd be amazed if after 6 months Atletico look to cash in, unless they've got something on the back burner that they want to get done. Who knows?
But,
we'll see.
Think
you never say never with Liverpool at the minute.
You don't know. But think of it like that, wasn't he? João Felix.
Yeah.
He didn't really set the world alight when he first joined there, and there was lots. We saw all the talk of, it's £100 million flop. He's not going to work out. What's the point? Now he's a key player. Sometimes it can take players a year to settle. Not every player does a Luis Suarez, a Virgil van Dijk, or a Bruno Fernandes, where literally as soon as they land, they're pretty much done. Mo Salah, to be fair to him, as soon as he played for Liverpool, he was settled. Some players take a year. So, but come on, let's talk about it, because we've had all the doom and gloom all January, haven't we, Kev? We've gone through it. We don't spend. We've got no money. The world's coming to an end.
Yeah. Watching FC.
Watching FC, Monster FC. That was the other one. Quite good. We're getting good at these acronyms, aren't we? You may be called Top Reds. Which I've been called much worse. So
a lot worse.
Yeah. So most of the truth.
I've been called a lot worse by people who like me.
That's just a gift. That's just a WhatsApp off me. So, come on, Luis DIAZ. You and me obviously have been talking about this for the last week or so.
Yeah.
And we both thought at first, don't think it's going to happen with Tottenham. This feels like it's a bit of a bit like an Arsenal sort of bid, where you put the bid in, it's going to get rejected, because then you bring in somebody else, or like you said, it was a give a kick up the arse to Wolves to get Traore done. But it was gathering a little bit of pace, and then it was a bit of an unknown Portuguese outlet just said, I think Liverpool have got to outbid them here. And we've done what's happened to us probably 10 years ago. Gazumped the club. We've just let them do all the hard work and gone, that's the fee. We'll go in. Nice to see.
We have all been watching the daily shows with Gav all week, and every day when we've been doing we've been looking around on the internet in the morning, seeing what was going on. And this stuff was always coming out from Portugal. And for the first time I saw it, I thought, right, Spurs are giving Wolves the hurry up to get the Traore deal over the line. Accept our bid for Adama Traore, or we're going to move on elsewhere. That's what I thought. And the more and more that every day this link was, Liverpool are interested. Liverpool are strongly looking at this. And it was all coming from the Portuguese side. And we've been down this road before with so many players. Even up until mid-morning, I was there look, we've been here with Fekir. We've been here with Timo Werner, where we all thought that this was actually a done deal.
Yeah.
And it just all went sideways. And I thought, hang on. And then Joyce pipes up.
I think that's the key one.
Yeah.
Because Paul Joyce he very rarely tweets. He generally tweets an article, or it's something concrete. Like he's saying, he's now tweeted that Lampard is the favourite to become an Everton manager. If Joyce is tweeting that, means he's not the favourite. He probably is going to be the Everton manager. So I'd say with Liverpool, the only time I've seen Joyce tweet saying fees agreed, all done, bar the medical, was Fekir.
Yeah,
That's the only one I could think of. Joyce, Remy possibly, because I think, but they're the two that failed medical. So touch wood.
yeah.
There were
I
reasons
mean,
why, but everything else was done.
but I woke up this morning, right, and I woke up about 7:30, looked at my phone, and WhatsApp group and my WhatsApp, I had like 75, 80 messages.
They're just off me.
And I was like, what? My first fear was, oh my God, what the hell's happened? You know that thing? You know,
My first fear was, who's who's injured? Salah's pulled the hamstring or something.
Yeah, I thought something's gone wrong here somewhere. Then I looked at it and I was like, no way.
I had all the tweets that flashed up saying deal done. And at first I had the wind up tweets. I went, oh no, these are people I have notifications on.
How many times did you go into a journalist's profile to see? Yeah,
well, I did, but I realized these are guys I've got notifications, so you can't fake that. So that's why people say Paul Joyce has said this. I'm going, he hasn't, because I've got a notification. It's not flashed on my phone. So Mohammed Abbas, I apologize. I've definitely got your name wrong there. Honestly, guys, I'm still annoyed with the FSG lot are still crying, and actually, I've turned this signing into more ammunition against them. Look, I think whether you're in, out, in the middle, which I'm sort of in the middle, if you don't like FSG, one signing ain't going to change your mind. It's a pleasant surprise, and it does fuel the argument that if the right player comes along, they will go for it. I mean, I think me and you, Kev, were talking about what type of signings you do in January. You said, the desperate signing, the cheap signing. And the only one I said, which we didn't bring up, was I said the opportunistic signing, which is a player you want becomes available for a fee you wouldn't expect. MC rightly asked, do we reckon Spurs, looking at Diaz, got FSG to act? Possibly. I
think so.
We always hear, I think it was the Anfield Wrap were talking to Paul Ghost, and they always talk about, Liverpool have like a list of 2 or 3 players for every position, and they go down the list. If it's not one of these 3, we're not buying them. So normally Liverpool just go, if we can't get Brandt, we'll get Salah. If we can't get Salah, that was it. If we can't get Götze, we're getting Mane. That's kind of was. So you wonder with Diaz, we'll see a bit like the Van Dijk one where Klopp has just said, that is the winger I want. That is the winger I need. And
second half is kicked off, by the way.
It's got to be better than the first half. It was dire.
First half was dire. But sorry, go ahead.
So you're sort of watching and thinking, well, we'll see what happens. But I do wonder, I think the fee's the key thing, because beginning of January, it was 65 million.
Yeah.
And in the summer, it was over that. And we're all going, he's just not worth. He's not worth that much.
No.
As in, that's not he's a bad player, but 70 million, there's a certain level that you expect. And I just think the opportunity arose where Porto are at the Champions League. They need the money. They haven't got the Champions League last 16 money. And there may be a little bit of, it sounded like, well, if I can't get Liverpool, I can't get a Champions League club, I'll go to Spurs. And that's probably where Liverpool went. We really want this. I mean, you saw an email from, is it Mo
Shatra.
That's him.
Apparently the breakdown of the fee is £37.5 million, 45 million euro. It's 12.5 million per year until it's paid. And the original club that Porto got him, Porto paid 7 million for him, but the club that he came from in Colombia will receive 10 million as part of the deal that brought him to Porto. So, and then you've got the add-ons which are achievable, which Gav explained earlier on. I hope to God we do end up paying the full fee for him, because the add-ons mean that we've won trophies, that we've got Champions League qualification, that we've gone so far in competitions, that we win stuff, that we've...
The talk is realistic add-on, which says to me, it might not be trophy laden, it might be when he makes 50 appearances, you get this much. When he scores 15 goals, you get this much. When you qualify for Champions League, you get this much. Things that are, touch wood, pretty achievable.
Yeah, and there was 5 million as well.
And then the other 5 million might then be if you win a Champions League, if you get a Ballon d'Or, if you win the Premier League.
Yeah.
So I think that's probably why Porto agrees, because they're all probably looking at it going, well, we're getting 37.5 million, but realistically, we're going to get 47.5 because.
Well,
You know,
Craig Lowe in the chat there is asking, what are the wages? I've seen various reports, everything
that's
from...
the only thing I'm not seeing. I can't imagine going. But look, Liverpool brought him in. The wages can't be an issue because they brought him in.
Well, they're not, because the wages I've seen are 57 grand a week up to 120k a week. Now, the way I'm looking at that is, if you say it's 120k a week minus off tax, national insurance, what have you, works out to be about 57k a week net, which for a fee of that much and a player with this kind of potential is very, very good.
He's probably on a similar fee to Jota.
Yeah,
I would, because that's the kind of level he is. He's kind of like, he's not Salah. He's not got the miles on the clock of a Bobby and a Mane. So he's probably that level below.
Yeah,
but he'll have seen with what Liverpool have done with Salah, what done with Mane, what done with Henderson, Van Dijk. He has a really good season. Next year, he could be getting a new contract with a wage bump.
We don't know. I mean, apparently the contract, for what I've seen, is
5 years, isn't it?
2026.
Yeah, but
with an option.
Mo Salah's first contract was 5 years, and he got a new one a year later because he did so well. So.
Fantastic free word there. Congratulations on achieving 12,000 subscribers. Well, that's on everyone in the chat.
Yeah.
That's all on you guys. Thank you very much for that.
Yeah,
Sorry, lads, it's been a terrible mistake activating the buyback on Solanke, and that's it.
Next.
He's pressed the wrong, you know what? To be fair.
Ward's pressed the wrong button. Oh, no. I didn't mean that one. Has anyone seen the GIF with Well I Am? It says it's FSG when they realise Ward pressed the sale button. Oh no!
That was meant to be subtitles.
Yeah.
Red Chili, I think he'll fit in straight away. I think he's one of those ones you can't hold him back. He's straining at the leech. I don't think so. I think that he's the absolute player that you take your time to bed in especially in that position. You watch the way we play and you watch how the press works. Everyone knows their role in it, and that takes time to learn. I think we'll see him off the bench now and again. I think for the first few weeks, you don't expect to see much.
The good thing is,
by the start of next season, he'll be ready.
Yeah, Callum from Coppish, who is terrible at predicting UFC, which we'll come into that in a minute. But to be fair to him, made a good point, which is he does come in with not as much pressure on him. It's not like when Van Dijk came in January. Van Dijk came in, fixed the defense. We needed to fix that. He had to work. Yeah. He's coming in as a bit like the cherry on top of the cake, which is we've got a front four which works really well. I mean, we're one of the top. I think we're top goal scorers in the league, so scoring goals isn't an issue. But we always had that worry of one injury, two injuries. You have to rely on Minamino. Listen, we had to play Kate Gordon, in the semi-final because we were limited on options. The kid did well, but we had to throw a kid in to do a job for us. At least now, if you're like, we're playing Watford at home in a few weeks' time, winning 2-1, it's a bit of a scrappy game, and they look over the shoulder and they're going, "Oh, they're bringing Luis DIAZ on." You're like, "Oh." It's like when Fergie used to bring on. You think he'd done well against Fergie, and then he'd have Berbatov off and Tevez warming up. You just go, "Oh,
heartbreaking stuff." Isn't it?
It's what City do. It's when City bring Mahrez off the bench, and you go, "Oh, what? I've got him to deal with now. I've just got rid of Sterling and Foden. I've got bloody Mahrez now." So at least Liverpool could have that same fear factor of they're bringing Diaz on.
My nephew is turning 18 in a couple of weeks' time. And my sister and her husband are taking him to Anfield for the Leicester game.
Oh,
and my nephew is bouncing off the walls Red fan, an absolute statistical genius.
Sounds like my kind of guy.
He's hopping off the walls because he gets to go and see Luis DIAZ, and hopefully he gets to go and see him in his first home game. And it's one of those things. It gives such a massive bump to everyone. Look, I said the other night when Keith was hosting the transfer show, I was happy with when the transfer window closed and the squad that we have going into the second half of the season. I was very happy because we got so many players coming back from injury, and we're going to have plenty of options. but this is just the cream on top of the cherry, on top of the icing, and on top of the cake. To have someone of this caliber to come in that gives you something different. I'm watching the game here, and it's a shame, really, that Colombia, everything is going down Colombia's right through Cuadrado, and they're going through Falcao and James. So Diaz is kind of stuck out here in the wing, and he's not getting as involved in the game in the game as what you'd hope. But the bits that he has done, he loves taking players on. He's the ball's coming out to him now, and he's just pulling out onto the fullback. And the positions that he takes up, he is so manny. You know what I mean? He really is so manny.
But then the good thing now is we talk about Manny's at dips. I mean, that Manny, despite what Garth Crooks thinks, that Salah upset him. Manny's had his biggest run this year of not scoring a goal. And he's found his form again. But we've had to play him every week because he's Manny's the main man, and the depth probably isn't as big as we want. You could now literally say, once this guy's a bit more settled, give Manny 3 weeks off. 3 weeks on the bench, recharge your batteries, get yourself feeling a bit fresher, because we'll give the new lad a run in, and we can pick and choose games. You know, it won't feel as big a risk now resting a Manny, because you're going, well, Diaz is coming in. D. Pierce says, Diaz signing has certainly lifts some of the transfer gloom around the club. Summer will be much easier now. I imagine a centre mid and a striker will come in, and not much else is needed around that. It's a good point, because you and me were looking going, they need 4 or 5 in the summer. It's a busy. Yeah. This could be a busy summer.
This has to be a busy window.
In fact, if you already got one of your summer transfers now, you are now looking going, we need to address the midfield as a priority. An extra attacker would be nice, and a right back cover. But you now look going, there isn't the pressure when we're getting some. We've got already a few in, which does help. Dave Lenz in the chat. Hello, Dave.
Good evening, Dave.
Our good mate who we've been having some fun with on social media, haven't we?
Yeah. But it's what you say about the summer. I mean, look, it's an open secret now that when James Milner does go, there needs to be a freshening up in that area of the pitch. Availability has been a problem for a few seasons for a lot of players, and there's an awful lot of mileage on players on the clock for some of these players as well. So it bodes well. I mean, FSG reward performance. He'll earn a mint winning 4 trophies a season, God willing. Wouldn't that be something to celebrate? Apparently, Porto still owe us money for Grujic. No idea if that's true or not, Chris.
It's not. It's sort of true. I think when we sold Grujic and Wilson to Fulham and Porto respectively, the deal was they went this summer, but they don't pay us until next summer. That was the agreement. It's a bit like a posh loan that we've done for them, really. But as an agreement, the first payment's not due to this summer, which I remember at the time there was a lot of criticism from certain parts of our fan base going, why are we letting clubs do now? But I think it's partly to get them off the wage bill. I'm probably thinking some of these clubs don't have the cash on them at the moment. So this away. So we have got money coming in already from Grujic and Wilson. Won't be all of it. It'll be a percentage like installments like everybody else does. But that maybe also a reason why we were able to move for Diaz. And look, we've heard it said a few times on a few channels. FSG claim if the right player comes up, Liverpool are nimble enough to go for him. This is an example of them doing it. Going, we can move plans 6 months. Because it's not like they've just gone, oh, Tottenham want Luis Diaz, we need to get him. He's clearly a player they wanted. They've just brought it up. Spurs in the pitch, Spurs in the transfer markets. Well, should we talk about Spurs? Because
you made the point. I was going to say, you made the point, and you're right in what you were saying.
Spurs time for everything.
This was us. Spurs, where Spurs are now, is where we were 8-9 years ago in missing out on players, bidding for players, being, getting Steven Gerrard on the phone to talk to these players like he did with Willian. Doing everything humanly possible to convince these players, only to be gazumped by a club who's regularly competing in the latter stages of Champions League. And that's a powerful position to be in, especially for players who aren't British. Yeah. If you're not if you're not from the UK, Liverpool are a huge club, but you also know that in your home country, the Champions League is where it's at. And if you're in the Champions League, you're a player. So having regular Champions League football is important. You know, it's and I think it probably is a key factor to where Diaz wanted to come to Liverpool over Spurs, because there's a big difference between being in the Champions League on a regular basis and trying to get into the Champions League on a regular basis. You know, and especially with the way the Premier League is, you could look at 7-8 clubs have a realistic ambition at the start of every season to challenge to get into the Champions League. So,
I mean, think about it. We got gazumped for William. We got gazumped for Salah first out. I mean, William was hilarious. Spurs gazumped us. He went to Spurs for his medical, and then after his medical, pissed off across the road and went, I'll go Chelsea. That was the mad one. Salah we got done for. Oh, and then we had the opposite problem where we offered to pay the release clause for Diego Costa, and he went, "Oh no, it's all right, lads. I'll just get a new contract." So Spurs bid was never accepted, though. I think it was rejected, but I think the talk in Portugal was they received the bid, and as soon as Diaz got a whiff that Liverpool were interested, he basically instructed Porto and his advisors, "That's where I want to go. I'm not interested." So I think that killed the Spurs.
Also,
but I think
Spurs
did all the donkey work, haven't they? Really?
Yeah, but Barry, the other thing as well, Spurs have made it known through various media sources that they were willing to match any bid that Liverpool were going to make,
and the player wasn't interested.
And the player decided no. Also, yeah, Laura's spot on. Being flexible with the Grujic payment probably didn't hurt negotiations on Diaz. No. It probably didn't, and we all know that from previous interviews that Klopp has done, they're big fans of the Portuguese league, and they've said it on multiple occasions. They like the way that football is played in Portugal. So
they're also a big fan of the Red Bull
model,
clubs. Yeah, Leipzig, because obviously they went to Salzburg for ideas for the training ground, but that also seems to be, we are always linked with players from Salzburg and from Leipzig, because I think they train their players or develop their players in a way that Liverpool thinks suits them. So it helps. It's kind of like their feeder club. Right. Here we go. Mark, that's a great beard, Mark. Sorry, it's not great for audio, but if you get to see his beard, that's a fantastic. I've got beard envy. Love the Diaz chat, but I'm going to watch my first women's match on TV on Sunday. Is there a link to the squad members and positions to help me in the women's game? Yeah, mate. If you go on the Liverpool website, so liverpoolfc.com, they've now built it in that on the team section, there is a women's section. If you click on that, it shows you who are the attackers, who are the defenders, who are the midfielders. Or I'll do a selfish plug because I'm very good at these. We've got 3 women's shows on our YouTube channel, and we've managed to interview 3 of the players. The other plug is my very first interview with a professional footballer, which is a mad thing to say out loud, was with Kelly Holland, who is a midfielder, and she actually signed 1 year today. So we've just retweeted that out as well, so that'll give you a bit of an idea. So yeah, it still sounds mad that though, Kev. Interviewing a professional footballer, it's a very strange thing to say. Some weirdo from Runcorn gets to interview a professional footballer. But cool, yeah, Mark. Let's see what you think. It's good laugh. FA Cup this weekend for the women, so we'll talk around that later. MC says apparently Newcastle still want 3 more signings before deadline day. Do you know what? Now we've got a player in, Newcastle's going to be a madness to watch. It could actually be quite funny to see if they sign. I mean, they've been linked with Enquiries, haven't they, from Arsenal? Yeah,
they've been linked with Eddie Nketiah. It looks like the Guimaraes deal is more or less done. That's a good signing, and he's exactly what they need. And
I do wonder, would they have gone for an Origi if he wasn't for this injury? No. He's been out for a while with this injury.
Yeah, I think you look. The problem is looking at Origi is if you're going to be spending any kind of money on him, right? When was the last time he played 10 games in a row? And if his body's breaking down in training,
Champions League run. The Europa League run. It's the last time he did it.
It's madness that. If you're, say, for argument's sake, a Brighton, and you need him to start week in, week out, you're taking a massive, even at 7 or 8 million, you're taking a huge gamble on someone like him because he just hasn't shown in the last few years that he's capable of doing it. And It's going to be interesting to see what happens. I think this next few days are going to be absolutely crazy because so many clubs need to do business in this window. Arsenal are in the mud, in more ways than one. They lost Callum Chambers now to Aston Villa as well. That was out of the blue. That was weird, but he's a versatile defender. So
they didn't even get a fee from him, though, did they? Because was his contract up in the summer? It was like they just needed to get rid of the wages.
Yeah, they just cancelled his contract.
Yeah, look, Callum James isn't the greatest defender, but he's solid enough. And I'll be honest, this is a club that 2 weeks ago was saying they didn't have enough players to fulfill fixtures, and now it's like we'll give Enquiries away, we'll get rid of Callum James. Not much has changed in that squad. They've still got Xhaka and Partey who guarantee will get another red card before, especially Xhaka. And there's still talk of Xhaka going, and then they've got the enigma that is Aubameyang, who Barcelona and Juventus were linked with, though I think Juventus aren't going to do that now because they've done Vlahovic.
They've done Vlahovic. That's signed, sealed. Here we go. All that lovely nonsense. But apparently Juventus are hawking what's his name, Morata around Europe to anyone who's willing to take him.
There is talk. Spurs looking at him.
Spurs are looking at him. Apparently Arsenal are looking at him. I don't know if Newcastle have been linked, but Juventus are desperate to get him out.
I'm not a big Morata fan. I think he's got a bit of the team of earners about him. I think he misses a lot more than we saw when he played for Chelsea. He didn't do great, but then again, we've seen a lot of big name strikers not do well at Chelsea. It's a hard club to go and be a striker, Chelsea. But I don't. This is going to sound like I'm being disparaging, but with what's gone on with Spurs in the moment, if you've got Morata on the bench. If you got off of Morata and Kane, that does give you something to make people fearful because you play Morata at the 9 and you let Kane play a bit deeper, like he was doing for Mourinho. And to be fair, he was doing well.
He was doing
It gives you a creative spark, So maybe that's just a different way of doing it.
It's one to watch for sure.
Yeah, Spurs representatives flew out to Portugal for other reasons. They're up to something. Maybe. Well, you'd like to think Daniel Levy, if he's as smart as people think he is, they've got backups for their backups.
Well, there's a midfielder playing for Colombia tonight that I really like, Ubre. He's a central midfielder. I think he's at Porto. And he's a very versatile centre mid who can get about the pitch. He's a good footballer. He likes to tackle. Someone like him could do worse. Spurs could do worse than going after someone like him. They need someone solid in the middle of the park who can put their foot in the ball and play a bit as well as get a foot in and tackle. So you wouldn't know. But there are so many different options out there. That you're saying there, Diaz and Nkunku wouldn't be a bad bit of succession planning. And that's a good way of looking at it because when you look at the ages, you've got Trent, 22, Konate, 22, Gomez, 21, 22, 23. What's his name? Simicast is up, I think, 25 or 6. Luis Diaz is 25. Jota is 25. What the one player that's bringing up the average age of the squad is James Milner at 36. So, when he comes off, our squad age will probably come down to probably around 26 and a bit, which is really good. It's a good, healthy position to be in. Thanks, Laura. Uber is at Porto. I like him. I think he's a good player. I wouldn't be interested in for us, but there's a few players that have been strongly linked for moves all over this transfer window. You look at Zakaria and players like that, and they're still where they are. They haven't gone anywhere. So there's an awful lot of clubs out there watching and waiting till the last minute. The rumors are that the Diaz deal will get confirmed once the medical is completed. They're playing tonight, and they go from Colombia tonight to Argentina tomorrow. For their game
6 hours
on Tuesday.
So 6 hours ago, David Lynch tweeted, a deal between Liverpool and Porto for Luis Diaz is fully agreed at 37.5 million plus 12.5 million add-ons. Getting the medal done is the main obstacle to the transfer being completed. Will take place in Argentina this weekend, as reported elsewhere. So David Lynch he's put his name to the fact that it's agreed. Pip Seri, who I think was actually one of the ones who
he was one of the original ones who broke it.
says the verbal agreement between Liverpool and the player is done. So it's a matter of signing the contract now and doing it. And I think Dave Maddox was being a bit cheeky, doing his cheeky tweets. He basically says the deal's agreed. They've got 2.5 days when he tweeted this morning to get a medical done and for him to sign a contract that he's verbally agreed. Yeah. So I agree. It's not done until he's holding the shirt, and we all go, "Great, he's there." But this feels like as close a lock as you're going to get, And there's too many big Liverpool journalists that have gone big on it.
Yeah, I don't think
David Ornstein's gone quite big in it. He's not a big Liverpool journalist, but David Ornstein's a bit like Paul Joyce. He doesn't really get into this until it gets really close to being done.
Yeah, I think look, and there's no reason to see in anything of his playing career that a medical will be a problem. They should be going to Argentina. They're playing Argentina on Tuesday.
I think someone said he's missed 6 games for Porto in the time he's been there.
Yeah,
he's been there
exactly. He doesn't miss much, which is really, really good.
Which is what you want, because that's probably the only criticism you would say of some of the recent signings has been very talented, probably not available enough as we would like. So that's probably the next thing. So, but again, this should reduce injury risk as well.
Yeah, I was going to say, to be fair, he's stepping up a level when he's coming from the Portuguese league to the Premier League. That's why I see all these people, loads of us, we've all done it, our best 11, and people are sticking him in there over Sadio straight away and all. The one person who's going to love this signing is Sadio, because I guarantee you,
could have a Simicast effect.
Exactly. Sadio's versatile anyway, because he can play through the middle, he can play right, he can play left, but this could really push him on to another level. And could you imagine Sadio on another level with a point to prove?
Oh yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But that's the beauty of this kind of deal.
Because when people say he's not anywhere near the level that when we won the league, and you go, no, he's not, and he may never get to the level he was when we won the league, but he's still a very, very good player.
Yeah, so he still scares defenders.
Yeah, people still plan this. People still shit the bed when they see him.
Reclaimer, who's Liverpool's number 14 is Jordan Henderson, mate. You ain't going to be giving that up anytime soon.
No, and number 7's obviously Milner. He may get number 7 in the summer. That could be a sweetener for him. If Milner goes, all talk is he is going. I mean, I was hoping the club would find a way of keeping him, even if it was say it'd be more reduced game time to get him into his coaching budget. But to be fair to Milner, he may just say, I want another year or 2 years playing before I retire, because you're a long time retired.
I think he's looking at Lallana for Brighton, and Lallana has had a resurgence in his career. He's playing a hell of a lot more, and he's playing to a really decent level. Still 0-0 in Colombia on 70 minutes. The bit's icy. It's a very bitty game, to be fair.
Yeah, so there'll be a few clubs after Milner, though. Yeah, I'll see.
There will. Yeah, Raheel there, keep Milner, really.
It's called experience. Look at the best candidate. Look at Ryan Giggs near the end. Ryan Giggs, literally near the end for United, was doing 10 games a season. But it was more having him around the club, having him keeping people honest, keeping people to the standards that's expected, which is what Klopp said Lallana was doing. And now people say that's paying for a cheerleader. It's not quite a cheerleader, but it's they call it cultural architecture. Which is very, HR, but it basically means there are certain people that keep the talent where you need to where it needs to be, and keeps the professionals where you need it to be. And Milner's one of those. I mean, Genie was one of them. So you go to that. Dave Lennon with another horrendous shout. Diaz to be Salah's replacement. Also, like when you said Arsenal win 2-0. So your track record, Dave, is not the best. But
penalty.
Penalty to Colombia.
Penalty to Colombia. On Yari Mina. I tell you what, that's harsh. I can see why it's given.
He has got hold of his hip.
I don't know if it's gonna. I don't know. No, it's been overturned.
Oh. Hey, speaking of overturns, who saw the Brazil? Let's talk about this Brazil game. We will come back to Diaz. Oh, the Brazil game was like 3 red cards in 20 minutes, and then one got overturned. I can understand I understand why Ali's is overturned, because the ball bounces quite high. He volleys it clear, and as his foot comes out, he catches the player. But you can argue he should head it. It was very similar to their goalkeeper. The difference was when their goalkeeper kicks it, he his foot goes straight into the guy's chest, and I think it's where contact is. So, but it was mad that, wasn't it?
It was so funny. It was one of. Do you know what? It was probably one of the most 1990s games I've ever seen. It was just an absolute madness. But
yeah, I understand what you're saying, Ronnie, and saying I get you, but I'd rather Hendo was in that role for now.
I think
the squad needs new blood. I get what you mean. What we're
I
saying
think
is
that's
Hendo will be in that role, but I think Hendo will be in that role in 2 years' time. I think people are writing Henderson off as in like he's done, his legs are gone, he won't be playing much again. He'll slowly start getting integrated out, but it's not going to be this season. It's not going to be next season. It's going to take time. What we need is a bit more depth there to flex him to give up. But if you keep Miller for one more year, he's happy, and he's happy with the contribution. Then he retires. Having someone like a James Milner in your coaching staff, if that's what he wants to do, would be priceless. Whether that is first team, or as you saw when we played the kids and knocked Shrewsbury out, which is still one of the funniest things I've ever seen. James Milner didn't go on holiday when all the other footballers. He wanted to be on the coaching. He wanted to be on the bench and teach and help with the kids out with Neil Critchley. That sort of hints that that's probably where he sees himself. He sees himself as some sort of coaching role.
I'd love to see him involved when he retires. I'd love to see him involved in the club in that capacity.
Yeah,
to come through, get his badges at the club, and you have someone like him coaching at the under 18 level and setting the standards that what's expected at the club. It can only be a positive. It can only be really good.
The other thing with James Milner is he's damn with fake praise. Everyone goes, "Oh, he works hard. He loves to rattle a tackle. He's a very talented player." People forget he was a really tricky winger when he was younger. Reinvented as a centre mid. Cool under pressure for penalties. Look, we had a problem for years before we had him, Fabinho, and Salah, people who could take penalties. He's very cool under pressure, very versatile. But I actually think he could teach youngsters also about how your football career doesn't just go up and up and up and up like that. Because he did Leeds, broke in, got relegated with Leeds. His hometown, went to Newcastle under Bobby Robson, didn't really play, wasn't fancied, knuckled down, but had to keep his mouth shut and get his head down. I wasn't happy he wasn't playing. Rejuvenated himself at Villa, got the big move to City, won league titles with City, then got the move to Liverpool when we were in a transitional year where he had to play, where he was told he'd play centre mid, ended up playing a year at left back, and then wins the one trophy he's never won, and then gets used to being phased out. It's a fabulous career, but it's not every year better, success. It's ups, downs, peaks, troughs, and I think that could be valuable sometimes to young players to go, if it doesn't work out first time, it's not the end of the world. You can come back, and this is how you come back. This is how I did it. So something like that, that sort of experience, I think, is priceless.
Yeah, it is. Get back. This also opens with the move to for Diaz. Annette McConville in the chat. Diaz is the hottest property since Haaland, Kylian Mbappe, then Diaz. I think he's up there. I think he's probably in the tier below. I think you've got Haaland and Mbappe as top two. Then I think you've got a tier with the likes of Vlahovic and Diaz. Anthony will be another one that I like. Barella. There's a few players probably in that second tier that you'll be looking at that would be possible targets in the summer. And Nkunku, Christopher Nkunku would be another one. And the beauty of someone like that is you get someone like that, you get them at the right fee to hopefully elevate them to be the next 75, 80, 90 million pound player. And that has to be the target. So it's there's so much positivity to come out of this move. Not only the fact that we're in a position now where we can gazump other Premier League rival clubs for players and not be robbed blind for it. We're getting really good players on the upward trajectory, and you've got Klopp for another while to get more out of him because tactically he can improve. There's a few things that I've noticed tonight in his game that he's got to weed out straight away. The thing like flashing for imaginary yellow cards, that kind of grinds my gears. But that's a cultural thing.
That's a cultural. That's all where he'll get to Liverpool, and Henderson and Van Dijk and Milner will be the take to one side going that isn't done. That isn't done here. That's not how we play the game.
Yeah.
And you do what we say.
But there's little things like that,
but
in the bedding process.
There are little things that can iron out. Richard says, "Can you imagine the fitness level and needle in our kids coming up with million training? Can you imagine? Yeah, he'd take no mess of it. The thing is, though, you hear he took Curtis Jones under his wing, but the story's coming out is he took Curtis Jones. Curtis Jones hasn't always liked it. He's been really quite vicious with Curtis Jones. Oh, you think you're good, do you? Let's see what you can do with your left foot. Oh, is that the best you can do? He's really challenging it, and apparently he said you could tell Jones doesn't like it, but Jones has risen to it, and this is why now when Jones comes to the side, you're looking at Jones going, he's quite, you don't really mind where he plays. He's quite robust. He keeps it simple. You need to keep it simple, but he's still got a bit of flash about him. And sometimes that's all it's take. Anfield Lark says it's a great clear when you list it like that. Yeah, people forget James Miller's been around forever, and he's played for.
He made his debut
teams.
at Leeds at 16, and I can remember seeing him in a Leeds shirt, and it was the time with Leeds had the Strongbow kit.
Yeah,
and
he broke Wayne Rooney's record, didn't he?
Yeah, the kit was falling off him.
Yeah,
it was about 3 sizes too big for him. It was mental. LFC Aaron with a super chat. Thank you very much. Milner's been playing for 20 years in the Premier League. That's 4 years longer than what it takes to be born to make a Premier League debut. It's a fact. It's when you're seeing Premier League players making their debut at 17, they weren't even born when James Milner was playing the Premier League, and he's still there.
Kate Gordon.
Gordon, yeah. Kate Gordon wasn't even a flicker in his father's eye.
Yeah, I mean, Laura Duffy has ever pointed out a very good fact, which was he had 4 years at Newcastle, played 100 games in 4 years. Not a lot, really, isn't it?
Not for a young player, no.
Which in some ways, it's probably doing what A, he's learned from, but B, that's probably why he's still able to play into his late 30s, which probably why Rooney didn't.
Yeah.
So there's some question about Rooney's lifestyle, as in that, could he have kept him a bit fitter than he did? But Rooney played non-stop 30, 40 games a season from 16 to his 32. So I think it's also, Rooney had loads more miles on the clock, whereas you looked at Milner's now probably got similar miles on the clock to Rooney, but he's done it he's stretched it.
Yeah. I mean, Mark in the chat there is right as well. Look, very comfortable with Milner moving on in the summer. We have leaders all over our squad. It's a fair point. And you know what? If he does go, then we're in a hell of a better position than when he arrived. And
oh, God, yeah. We had none.
Yeah, we didn't.
We look at Emre Can to lead us.
When you think about when he joined bringing a winner's mentality, coming from a club who'd won leagues.
He was a standard setter, wasn't he?
Yeah. And he's like, look, you guys are doing this. We were doing this at City, and this is why we beat got over the line.
I bet you he was saying to some of those players that were still there from 34 said, "This is why we beat you to the title."
Yeah,
and being that needly, but players go to us either get the ump and piss off, which to be honest, we probably could guess who those players were, and they did. And then the likes of a Henderson or a Coutinho, to a certain extent, would have gone, "Oh, okay, that's what it takes. That's what it takes."
Yeah. So, yeah, look, I mean, he's been an incredible free transfer as well. That's Kieran B in the chat there. Incredible free transfer, Soldier.
Beats Gary Mack, which takes some do to beat Gary Mack. I mean,
and Joel Matip as well. Matip. That's a show in itself.
Should we have a quick think of really good frees we've had? Let's see what
they're the ones off the top of my head, but
let's have a think. So let me get a piece of paper because
it's one of those things. You have to have a mix. You can't have a squad riddled with 17 to 25-year-olds. You have to have a certain amount of players who are 28 to 33 who can slow people down and walk players through games if need be, but walk players through situations in life as well, because it's not all playing serious. It's not just about football. You can imagine being in a dressing room. It's everything else that goes with it, and having experienced players like that. Yeah, we do. We have experienced players in the squad now. And if he goes, then fantastic. He's been a fantastic servant for the club.
Another good free who probably should have played more than he did, but because of illness didn't, was Marcus Babbel.
Yeah, look, yeah.
That was a ridiculous coup, because at the time you couldn't believe we got him for free.
No, we couldn't. Nobody could. I was just trying to think there now. I mean,
technically Robbie Fowler because he got him back on a free.
Got him back on a free. But
Craig Bellamy too, Ferris.
Can you see us doing anything else
this summer? This January.
This window. Outs and ins.
Outs, I can see at least one. I think Nat Phillips will go. I'm a little surprised he hasn't. I'm a little bit surprised.
Apparently, Newcastle did have an offer rejected.
Yeah, so it depends how Darius. They also thought it was a derisory offer. We'll see. Maybe one of Taki or Origi. Now, part of me thinks they'll keep Origi because A, he's confident. B, he's still something a bit different because Salah, Mane, Diaz, they're a similar type. Pacey wide players who like to cut inside onto their strong foot. Bobby's a different style of player. Jota, none of them are big physical options, which Origi does give you when you can keep him fit. So I think you definitely might see Nat Phillips go. That's what I mean. I definitely might. I think you'll see Nat Phillips go. Bringing Reece Williams, as Mark A puts, bringing Reece Williams back was telling. Now, partly he wasn't getting game time at Swansea, but
yeah, I think he goes out again.
You also might have said, yeah, but you might have said suck it up and get used to the experience because it's good experience, living away from home and all that sort of stuff. So, but I wonder if he's been brought back to sort the homegrown quota out.
Maybe
while we're letting that go. The other one that Mark A rightly points out is Carvalho, Fabio. That because he's free in the summer and that's not going away.
It's a tribunal fee that that he would command.
Although to be honest, the last two guys we've got in tribunal, we've had three under Klopp on the tribunal fees. I would say at the moment only one's really worked out, which is
Peru scored.
Peru scored. That's a terrible goalkeeper, but it is Ospina who used to play for Arsenal, so says it all really. Terrible goalkeeper. He's shit at Diaz. Get rid of him. That's getting clipped later.
The Carvalho one is interesting because I don't think it's one for the now, unless you do it now
and loan him back.
And loan him straight back because Fulham are in a promotion push and they'll want to keep him. And it'll be a good experience for him. Whether and I wouldn't be surprised if we did something like that because all of the noise that for the week is that he's highly rated.
And obviously, if he's anything like the last lad we got from Fulham, we'll do all right.
Yeah, MC there. We need more techie players, and Diaz is one of them. Like Rafinha or Cherki, be nice. Silva said Carvalho is not leaving, Chris.
The Porto manager also said they weren't going to sell Diaz this January. The Porto manager is absolutely fuming that he's gone.
Yeah.
I don't know why he's fuming. He must know the club need the money.
Yeah, he does. And the thing is, they've left themselves. They have to get a replacement.
And everyone knows they've got money.
Yeah, Paul Smith. Yeah, Paul, we talked about that. The interest in another South American called Matias Cunha, Brazilian false nine striker from Atletico Madrid. He's 22 years old and on the market for 22 million. Look, they bought him, I think it was from Hoffenheim. Or
we were linked at the time.
We were linked with him last summer and we didn't go there.
Because he felt like the ideal one to train to be a Bobby.
Yeah, LFC Aaron, Colombia haven't scored a goal in their last 6 World Cup qualifiers. True.
What have we bought here, mate? He's not scored in 6 games. What's going on?
They're not helped by the fact that they're playing Ramadal Falcao.
I am joking. People start getting mad. I am joking.
James Rodriguez as a 9 and 10. A Bobby replacement. See, this is the interesting question, right? Apparently, the contract negotiations are going on for all three. Salah, Mane, and Bobby. I can easily see a situation where they're extended for a year.
Yeah.
I think it was Gavin saying it or you were saying it?
My thought was more, because we've got Diaz now, I still think Salah gets done. And I think Salah gets done for a big increase, which, look, I have no problem with it. He's the best player I've seen at Liverpool for a long time, and quite frankly,
Shane Douglas there, Hertha Berlin for Acuna.
He's the key player for us. So I'm fine with that. With the other two, I do wonder either Jogee and Diaz now, if I was Manny and Bobby's agent, I'd be a bit worried. Because it's almost like, well, we want this amount or we want less. And Liverpool go, no, this is what, a bit like we did with Gino Ronaldo, this is what we're giving you. Take it or leave it. If you leave it, we've already got your replacement in Diaz. So take it or leave it. And I wonder if that, and Liverpool can be that hard one, can be that cutthroat, which is kind of how football has to be a little bit. So I still have this sneaky suspicion that out of Bobby and Manny, one stays, one goes. I'm quite happy both stay.
I'd be delighted if
the more good players, the more good players you have, the better. But look, players can't stay forever, and also it's whether Bobby and Manny are going to be happy becoming more rotational type players. Because let's be fair, we all love Steven Gerrard, but he made it clear to Brendan Rodgers he wasn't going to be a rotation player; he was a starter.
Yeah.
And of all the front three, the one you can really sort of say I'm starting every week regardless is Salah. Jota's probably a very close second, but
I like the idea that we now currently have five forwards that you can say are of a level, of a proper level. That if any three of those five are playing, you'd feel confident going into pretty much any game, and that's a hell of a difference from where we were before we signed Jota, when we had the front three and then a cliff edge,
Anfield Liverpool are right to keep the pay structure. It needs to be fair in relation to all players' wages. Can't pay Salah double what Van Dijk gets. I think that's a bit idealistic. Generally, forwards get paid more. Generally, that's just the way of the world, because it's an old saying, but goals pay the rent. And it's not disparaging Van Dijk because he's the key to defence. Salah's the key to us on and off the pitch.
Yeah,
I
think
people the other side is people won't like hearing this, but Salah's a brand now, and you don't have many footballers doing GQ magazines and getting invited to Time magazines, and he's quite well. He's getting known in America more than Liverpool are. You ride off that, and so for FSG. On the pitch, he's a diamond because he scores loads of goals. He's going to help win us trophies. He's a PR dream because he's never in trouble. He's lovely and polite. He's always smiling.
Yeah.
He's very charitable. Everything about him is lovely. But commercially for them, he's worth a fortune. And the image rights they'll get off him is huge. So. That's why I think they'll pay him more, because it's almost like he's the ultimate cash cow. I know that's very cutthroat, very businessy, but that's what he is.
Yeah.
Listen, I don't think
whatever about the Luis Diaz deal, and it's great that we've got it over the line. Fantastic, happy days. Getting Salah done is key.
Announce Salah deadline day.
I couldn't care less when this. I could wake up tomorrow morning.
That would be your perfect January. What happened in January?
Yeah. I mean, there was a lot of rumor as well that I just want to quickly get back to who might be leaving. The Taki might go, and the only thing I'd say is you're running out of time for someone like Taki, because he's away logistically. Anyone looking to get a deal done for Taki Minamino now, getting medicals done and stuff like that, you're really pushed.
You're gonna have to get the national team to do the medical for you.
Yeah, you're really, really pushed. Was Barry definitely there? Just read that Man United have 15 players with 18 months left, and I thought we were bad with the front three and Ox and Keita. Chelsea another one, and Chelsea could be looking at.
But again,
more.
Is this the COVID? Is this the COVID stuff? Which I know everyone laughs at it. Liverpool the only side affected by COVID. Is this a thing that United and Chelsea looked at? Not that they need the money, but it's like, why do I sign a player to a new contract on will they want more wages when I'm not quite sure we'll have fans back. I'm not quite sure commercially where we're going to be. I think a lot of clubs will hold out. I think we've seen this summer and next summer, there's lots of players going to be free this summer and next summer who are top quality.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes it's because clubs have gone, I can't afford the risk of renewing his contract on 150, 200 grand a week because I don't know commercially where we're going to be in a few years' time.
Yeah.
I think things are settling down a bit now. But even United, they will have rules and regulations. There'll be internal ones. It won't be like, we haven't got the money. They'll be like, they'll have a financial structure themselves.
I think a clear out at Old Trafford wouldn't
Probably
be
not a
the
bad
worst thing in the world for them. Look, they could sign up whoever the hell they like. I don't really care. That squad, if they want to sign everyone in that squad up to 5-year deals, delighted. Good luck to you.
Yeah.
Laszlo is saying Taki would be perfect for Leeds. He would do. I think
he's got the pressing. He'd suit a pressing style, but
I think he'd be interested in Leeds system. If he was given that number 10 role, he'd be very good. He could be very interesting for Leeds. But Laszlo, I mean, the thing is for me is logistically getting a medical done. I think I don't know where Japan are playing. Laura's saying there the next game is on Tuesday in Japan. Would they sign him on a loan with an obligation on the strength of Liverpool say so that he's okay?
Yeah,
I don't know, but I think it might need something like that.
Would Liverpool agree to it?
I don't know,
because I wonder if Liverpool just go, do you know what? Until the end of the season, we've got 7 attackers. So be it.
Yeah,
and just say, look, Origi's seems to be quite a content character to just be a bit part player, and Taki's been a bit part player all his Liverpool career. So what's 6 months going to kill him?
I think it's. Antoinette saying there, according to Sky Sports, 1.5 billion worth of players are out of contract in the summer. Shocked when I see it. When I look at it, it is crazy, Antoinette. But I think you're looking at an awful lot. I think you might be looking for, in a lot of cases, especially on the continent, I think you could be looking at a reset for football and for football wages. The money on the continent, especially, isn't there, and you're seeing it more and more in the Netherlands and Germany and France, where they're still playing with reduced capacity grounds. Italy as well, they're all playing with reduced capacity grounds. The clubs don't have the money to pay the wages that players are currently demanding. The Premier League is the exception to the rule, mainly due to the TV right money and mainly due to the commercial value of the league and the fact that you've got full grounds. Archie Doolin there, 316 watching, 120 likes. Come on, lads, we can do more. Smash the like button. It would be really appreciated if you can.
Frederick Nielsen with a super chat. There's no comment, so
thank you very much for that.
Thank you for this. If you did want to put a comment, just put it in as a normal message. I'll keep an eye out for it.
Yeah.
I'll put it up. I'm not sure what currency that is, actually.
Oh, Frederick Nielsen with his comment coming out. Glory, glory, Man United.
There you go. Where is he?
Fair play to you, mate. Welcome to the chat.
Fair play. Fair play, sir.
Yeah.
Other fans are welcome,
Absolutely.
But, I mean, Arsenal for Life was in early before, and he was quite funny. He was actually
good,
quite funny.
Yeah, good guy.
He's really funny.
So we were on the break again. Minute and a half to go. Nah, just play
John. I mean, John doesn't admit what if we can go to Argentina and someone could go to Japan.
Yeah,
you couldn't find though. It's a long old flight that we've given ourselves 2 days to get it sorted. So
and plus we're doing it for a deal that could escalate up to 60 million euro. And with all the best will in the world.
Red Steve said it was 10 Danish kroner. There you go. Thank you very much.
Well done. There you go.
There we go.
Every day is a school day, mate.
It is. There was an Everton fan in the chat.
That's interesting, actually.
Here we go. Stephen Richardson, who, to be fair, has been in the chat a few times. Not my choice, but we get behind Lampard. Just out of curiosity, Stephen, who was your choice? Because I must admit, look, I have no love for Everton, but Lampard seems an odd choice for a relegation battle. He didn't cope very well when he had a decent amount of money to spend at Chelsea, and his purse strings will be tired. I mean, let's be faced, he's not going to be able to get anybody in now. So, but it'll be interesting to know, who would you have preferred as your manager? It'll be
nearly time up. We're almost at that point now.
There we go. We've got another Leeds. We've got a new fan, Leeds fan. Tim Wood, as a Leeds fan, I don't think we actually do medicals with our injury list. I mean, to be fair, it's a very good point. We just keep running till he collapses. Next one will do.
I think Jesse Hutchinson has a great point there. Could see Liverpool extending Firmino and Mane and waiting to see whether Gordon, Jones, Musolowski, and Elliott become world beaters. That's a great shout, actually.
It is a good one. But again, that's future planning. You know,
Yeah.
this is what I like about Diaz. This is what I've liked about Jota. What I've liked about Diaz and
You
Simicast
have
to a
full
certain
time.
extent.
Peru have beaten Colombia 1-0. Massive result.
He's rubbish, isn't he? He's rubbish at Diaz. Get rid of him.
Yeah.
What a waste of money.
Can't even score against Peru. What are you doing? Where's Paddington Bear? Release Paddington.
One for the kids, that one, isn't it?
One for the kids, yeah.
Ferguson till the end of the season and Rooney in the summer. Now, it's very easy to take the mick out of Wayne Rooney. I've done it all the time. But you can't argue the job he's done at Derby is really good. If it wasn't for a point deduction, which isn't his fault, 4 points off playoffs with a very, very thin squad. So he's doing well for himself, really building his career. I sort of feel for his management career, it's probably a good thing that he's turned Everton down, because the stories you hear coming out of Everton is it's a bit of a shit show behind the scenes. I mean, with Rafa gone, Brant's has gone. I think one of the head medical people's gone. I think one of the head recruit people have gone. So it's a restructure behind the scenes. And I think for a young manager, I don't think that's quite all right with things. Well, I think that's what killed Brendan Rodgers at Liverpool to a little extent. Is FSG will learn on the job a little bit, and I don't think that helped him. So
I think
long term, Rooney showing the signs that him and Vieira, to be fair, look like they've got something about them to be really talented managers. So
it would be. I think Duncan Ferguson would get Everton safe. I got to credit. Give the devil his due. In that second half against Villa last week, they had a right go, and that was the first time I've seen Everton have a proper go in a good while. And
it's just whether playing that. It was like watching Burnley or Wimbledon.
Yeah, could you play that at that intensity when
all the time?
Things, when you lose 2 or 3 end of bounce? Would they be able to keep that intensity up? I don't know.
MC, a great point. Apparently, Dortmund are interested in Musolowski. If anyone's amazed at spotting young talent, it's Dortmund. It is. I did hear someone suggest. Actually, it was Callum. To be fair, could Liverpool use Musolowski as a bit of a sweetener for Dortmund? If you're going to look at someone like a Jude Bellingham, as in not selling, but we'll give you Musolowski on a 2-3 year loan, so he can develop. He's basically your player for 2-3 years with a big. And then there'll probably be some sort of a loan fee agreement.
Yeah, look, I'll be honest. I got a feeling that if you're the player, and you're seeing the kind of caliber of players that Liverpool are looking at, there is going to be a few players in that academy that are going to be looking elsewhere for a pathway. And I think Musolowski could be one of those.
We'll see. I think Liverpool like to try and get one. Klopp does like to try and get at least 1 or 2 young centre. I suppose the problem is you got young Trenton. Elliott looks like he's going to be a regular for us, and the early signs are Gordon looks like he's going to do that for us. The telling thing was someone said there was I think it's a YouTube program. One of the sponsors Liverpool do something, and it was Robertson and Van Dijk, and it's Musolowski they put in front.
Yeah, I watched it. It was really
very
good.
It's very telling they put him. They could have done Cade Gordon, or you could have done another first teamer. The fact they threw him in sort of hints that Liverpool look at him and thinking there's something about him that he likes. Laura loves your Paddington Bear show, by the way.
G10's comment there, Musolowski buyback option maybe. Do you know what? I like the idea of those deals. For example, you sell Musolowski to a Dortmund or to a Salzburg, wherever, for 15 million, right? And if we want to buy him back in 3 years' time, we pay 25. If we don't want him back, then look, we've made 15 million on him anyway. Happy days. If we do get him back, and we think he's worth it to bring back at 25, Dortmund have developed a player for us for 10 million quid. And you've seen it with so many players who go down into the championship and where they need game time. Harvey Elliott was a prime example. It's a good way of guaranteeing a win-win situation for yourself. Najib, Chris and Kev, would you choose Bowen or Nkunku? They're 2 different players.
I At the moment, you'd probably say it might be Bowen because of the homegrown issue. If you're losing Milner,
I think Nkunku has a higher ceiling.
I think Nkunku is the better player, but we still have this homegrown issue we've got to keep an eye on.
Calvin Van Vuren. Morning from Perth. Good day, mate. How are you?
Yeah.
I hope you. 6 days a week, and I start with the Trippers. Gav soft tones at 6 in the morning never fails. Yeah, it's so that's one way of. Well, you guys get the soft tones. We get the other tones.
We get the actual tones.
We get the real tones. I know he's good as gold, man. He's good as gold. LFCJ, any official news, lads? Officially, the club haven't said a word.
But they won't say a word till the medical's passed. Exactly. And it's, but all the talk is the journalists that you would expect to know this sort of stuff are all pretty much saying fees agreed. It's just a matter of it. It's just a matter of getting the medical done. And the fact we've flown a team out to Argentina, and things fine. Last one before we go. Graham Bailey says West Ham are going in for Rafinha.
Yeah, I think Leeds won't be under any pressure to sell him in this window. Brazil are already qualified for the World Cup, and his position in that squad is absolutely
here we go.
Rock solid. It's absolutely rock solid.
I love all this round.
Yeah, they removed that.
The Prince tweet's gone. So you know what'll happen is they'll announce Diaz, and then we'll all wait for the Diaz once this space. Go, come on, when's the Salah one?
And Dico, Dortmund want Adeyemi. Yeah, look, I think the pathway from Red Bull Salzburg through Dortmund looks like a well-worn one.
The talk is Adeyemi's going straight to Bayern. He's an ex-Bayern boy as well.
Yeah, it's either or. It's a case of who ends up with Haaland, because there is a remote possibility that Dortmund could end up with Haaland. Sorry, not Dortmund, Bayern, if Robert Lewandowski decides to go. There was talk as well that Thomas Muller might be available.
Robert Muller's his brother.
Yeah. It's been a long day, mate. But yeah, Thomas Muller could be available.
Do you know, I love Thomas Muller. He's too old now, for Liverpool. But
yeah, I think he was a proper forward when he was just Mr. Dependable, and he's got just that right amount of snide that you like in a player.
But he's a bit like Joe Maxwell. He's just a bit awkward.
Yeah,
kind of like. But in that,
you look at Joel Matip and you think, yeah, you're not a footballer, mate. I don't know what you are, but you're not a footballer. And then he just goes and does mad things.
Yeah. Archie Doolin, thank you very much. Great pod, lads. Fair play, Chris and Kev. Busy night. It has been a busy night.
Been a mental day. I mean, the thing is, there's loads of other stuff going on in the world of sport, but let's face it.
We haven't done the Royal Rumble yet.
Yeah,
we'll talk about that next week.
Yeah, it's not real, mate.
See you with. Oh yeah, but it's good fun though.
True. The NFL coming up on Sunday night.
We do need to get Phil Casey on soon to talk NFL.
I've reached out to Phil. Phil's going to do a pre-Super Bowl show and give us the ins and outs of who to watch and what's going on. But I missed some of the games last week, and apparently there were some absolute belters.
Yeah, apparently there were. Yeah, so
looking forward to it.
Last up our game, Kev.
Yeah. Australian Open tennis. Nadal against Medvedev. Number one, number two.
How's Djokovic getting on?
I think he's got a point, and he's sat in the armchair, and
he's not lost a game of it.
No, I've heard that too.
Yeah, not won one either, but
Charlotte Flair winning the women's rumble.
Yeah, she's a bit like the Man United of wrestling, isn't it? Like Charlotte Flair wins. LOL. Ric Flair's daughter.
I know she's Ric Flair's daughter,
and she's like Ric Flair, as in that she just wins everything.
Yeah,
which gets a bit boring after a while.
It's great.
It's great pantomime.
The road to WrestleMania starts. I didn't see. You said it to me earlier. They moved it to Saturday night.
They moved it to Saturday night. Apparently, it's to get better TV viewers.
Yeah, they can't compete with the NFL anymore.
They can't compete with the NFL. But for people who like watching it, who aren't in America, you still got to watch it at 1, 2 in the morning. If that's what you're into. Yeah. So if you've got to watch it 1, 2 in the morning, Saturday night, Sunday morning, that's better because That's why they lose a lot of viewership, because people are like, I've got work. I've got work.
Yeah.
I can't.
Exactly. The kids got school or whatever, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, AFCON is coming up in the gym as well, down to the business end.
We'll probably cover that more next. We'll probably cover that more next week.
We'll go into it next week. And I'll be honest, I haven't been impressed with the competition at all. I think the standard of officiating is absolutely shocking.
Standard games haven't been crazy. The Egypt game was okay.
There's been a few decent games. There's some excellent goals. You know, but I haven't seen any one player grab the tournament by the scruff of the neck and say, "Yeah, look at this. You know, look at me. I'm the next big player to come out of Africa." I just haven't seen it. I've seen a few decent performances. I thought Salah has been on the periphery of the whole tournament. But I think that's a roundy way of saying that Egypt ain't very good. You know,
no, Egypt is just. It is get it to Salah and hope for the best.
Yeah,
Ronda. In some ways, it's always not a bad. It's not a bad plan. You got the best player in the world, but there's not much around him. A lot of points out what's Senegal's medical doing, letting Sadio play on. Yeah, I mean, he looked knocked out.
Ronda Rousey and Brock Lesnar. I thought Ronda Rousey was coming back in to face someone.
The rumor is they're going to bring her back in this, make her win it, and the rumor Brock Lesnar is he'll lose his title, and then he'll just rock up and win the Rumble,
and come in at number 30. Yeah,
just annoy everyone. So that's kind of the plan.
Yeah, Lauren, you're spot on. The issues with the rest of the team, it's fair, but I'm still looking at other sides in this tournament, and the Ivory Coast, I was expecting more from. Ghana, I was expecting a lot from. I mean, Ghana were shocking.
I'll be honest, that game for me proved again why Wilfred Zaha doesn't get a move to a top 4 side.
Yeah.
He didn't get picked, which is annoyed her, but he came on with like a bear of a soul. He had that petulance about him. And when he's got that petulance attitude about it, he loses all sorts of focus. And I just don't think he impacted the game very well. I mean, that Tottenham played up to that and got him sent off. And I think that's a part of his game he should have lost a little while ago. It's all right being competitive and, wanting to win, but it feels like he oversteps into that petulance area.
We'll definitely be watching the games. I think the quarterfinals, they start tomorrow. So it'll be Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. Saturday, Sunday will be get the games in, then you're into the semi-finals and final next weekend. Right. And Dicko, Salah is us without Gerrard. No, I think Salah for Egypt is like Salah playing with our under-23s against a top half Premier League club. You just get marked out of it. And that's what's happening. He's playing central and he's being marked out of games. It's crazy.
Cool. Right, before we go, Kev, anything else you want to add?
No, just a quick plug for Féileacáin, our charity sponsor. All of the details and stuff is in the links below. We appreciate the super chats that we've had tonight. They've been absolutely fantastic. But we would appreciate it a lot more if those super chats went directly through Féileacáin. And the link in how to do that is in the description below. Also on the lfcdt.com website, and all of our social medias is our pinned tweet on all of those. So hopefully if you're on Twitter, have a look on the LFC DT Twitter page and just retweet the link that's in there. Share it around to your friends and WhatsApp groups and what have you, and just tell people about it. We really appreciate it.
Cool. The only thing I have to add, it's FA Cup weekend for the women. So Liverpool women are at home against Lincoln. It's 2:00 kickoff. So if you're in the area, there's still tickets available, so you can go to that. And if you're not in the area, I believe the game's going to be streamed on Liverpool's YouTube channel or on the LFC TV. I'm almost certain it is. We normally do for the home games, especially when the men aren't playing. So another chance to see a bit of footy if you don't want to watch international footy. But Kev, rest of the week, we'll have Fatback 4 with yourself on Sunday.
Sunday night. And I think Gav is going to be doing... Monday night, we're doing a transfer deadline special as far as I know. So
you got a yellow tie?
I have no yellow tie whatsoever. But I'm pretty sure if you guys check out... Keep an eye on the socials and what have you. But if you're tuning in on Sunday, we'll give you all of the details for what's going on Monday night. But I pretty much guarantee that we're going to be following the transfer window all the way through.
Oh,
Obviously, if anything Liverpool breaks in the next 48 hours,
I'm sure we'll do something.
Pretty sure Gavin will be straight on to break the news.
I might try and gate crash the deadline one because I actually got something to talk about for once.
Exactly. Nice, isn't it?
Nice. Right, until then, guys.
Watcher FC.
Yeah. Until then, guys, thanks very much for everyone who watches and the likes and shares. They are much appreciated. And listen, leave feedback when the show's over. We do read the comments. It is always very helpful. And thank you for the very nice comments I got on the women's show, which went live on Thursday. But until then, guys, look after yourselves and we'll see you guys soon.